The unique feature about this personality is his ordinariness. That's why there are no people beating drums at his door, no major cult or a sectarian movement springing up in his name. This is a good sign, because if you like, this shows that as the world evolves, as humanity evolves, the way they will relate to the idea of spirituality cannot necessarily be cultish or narrow. It should be very broad. It should relate to the ordinary. That's why the life of this person is very ordinary. I mean, I deliberately cut out any magical stuff. I kept it to the minimum so that it appears as ordinary as possible. That is the aim of this particular personality. This is the fountainhead of spirituality, this Sri Ramakrishna. People have not even heard the name, but I'm taking the gamble of wishing him out into greater society. So be it. In fact, when I'm challenged, sometimes I'm challenged quite often because I interact with the Hindus all the time. I'm challenged. Mr. Lakhani, what is your authority? Did you go to Banaras Hindu University to study Hinduism? Have you studied the scriptures? This and that. I said, oh, leave me alone. I don't know any of that. I only know my mentor, and the name of my mentor is called Swami Vivekananda. And you Hindus voted him at the end of last century as the spiritual light of India in the last century. So that's it's the general vote of confidence in Swami Vivekananda that I rely on. That is my authority and inspiration. And then you see, if you talk to Vivekananda and say, what is your sort of authority? If Vivekananda says, look, leave me out. Everything that I've acquired, these are his words, lovely stuff. He was very, very truthful, even not being modest. He said, look, if there's anything good I have said, or anything good I have done, know for certain it was inspired by my master called Ramakrishna. And all the mistakes were my production. So this was not just being modest. He was aware that he was working also under the shadow of a spiritual giant. This Ramakrishna is almost an unknown personality. So when anybody attacks me, I pass the buck to Vivekananda. When anybody attacks Vivekananda, he passes the buck on to Sri Ramakrishna. This is called passing the buck in English. And why are we comfortable with that? Because we know we are dealing with a super personality, a giant. So it is very ordinary, very simple, very humble. So we have started the story of Sri Ramakrishna. In the first part we say he is a young man, about 18. Keen not to just believe in the idea of spirit, religion, mother goddess, but actually coming face to face with it. See, a unique feature of our religion. It has never been a belief system. It always says it has to be experiential. And this becomes visible with this young man imploring the mother of the universe, saying, oh mother, are you for real or make believe? Are you just this stone image that I'm worshipping? Oh mother, if you are for real, why don't you show yourself to me? I have heard historic accounts of other people seeing the mother goddess. So why can't I? Am I that bad? Why don't you appear in front of me, oh mother? And this man now works very hard. All day he's just thinking of the mother goddess, imploring her. At night he disappears into the forest. All night he sits under a tree and meditates and focuses on the idea of the great creator, the mother of the universe. And he wants her to become visible. This went on. This is very long. You see, he had this highest spiritual experience without any prompting at the age of 7. He just hit on it straight away. And now he's 18 and he wants to be the mother of the universe. He's taking his time. The story says for 6 years he used to cry, implore the mother of the universe, saying, oh mother, show yourself to me if you're for real. Otherwise, how can I believe you? Mother, show yourself. He used to rub his face on the ground and cry, oh mother, oh mother. And the passers-by, standard stuff, would look at him and say, oh, maybe his mother is in the village, he's missing his mummy. But he's looking for the mother of the universe, not his mummy in Kamarpukur. People cannot make the difference. And so, yes, maybe the fellow loves his mother's boy, he wants his mummy. Fair enough. And the story goes on. For 6 years he's imploring. His eyes are red because he doesn't sleep at night. And all day he's just thinking of nothing but the mother goddess. Nothing but mother goddess, day and night. 6 years passed like that. The story continues. One day this Ramakrishna in the temple of mother goddess looked at the image of mother goddess and said, oh mother, I've had enough. I told you you're strong-willed. I had enough. Today, either you show yourself to me or I kill myself. Now, whenever we've done this story, through plays that we've done many times in the past, we always told the audience, this part of the story comes with a health warning. Don't do what Ramakrishna did next, otherwise we'll all be visiting you in the hospital. Don't do it. We strictly say, Ramakrishna can do it, you can't do it, leave it alone. So this Ramakrishna, when he came to the end of his tether, I looked at the image of Mother Goddess, oh Mother, show yourself to me. And he looked around. In the temple of Kali temple, they put some of the weapons of the Mother Goddess on the walls as decoration. And there is a nice kind of sword of the Mother Kali on the temple wall of Dakshineshwar. And this young man had enough. After so many years, this is getting too much. He jumped up like a madman. He was almost there like a madman anyway. He jumped up, picked up the sword, and was about to really chop his head off. That's why I said this part comes with health warning. Don't attempt it at home. He picked up the sword, about to chop his head off. Real story in real times, in our times. And then in his own words, because he was very candid, he would talk frankly about his spiritual experience with his disciples. It's well recorded, so it's no supposition. This is his experience in his own words. And when I hear this experience, it gives me a thrill, because this is what it should be. This is what it should be. Can't be anything less. He said in my own words, in his own words, he said, when I was about to bring this life to an end, because I had enough, and I was about to do that, suddenly, he said, the floor on which I was standing, the walls of the temple which I could see all around me, the image of the Mother Goddess, everything began to disappear, disintegrate, disappeared. Look, if you stand on the floor and suddenly if you look down, there's no floor, it will be very worrying. Everything disappeared. But the good part is you too disappear. You can't see your body either. In this state, he says, I saw. Look at the language of spirituality in our times, expressed by a person who is talking from experience, not some book learning, no scriptures, no shastras. He said, I saw huge waves roaring, made of light. See, not some material being. Huge waves of light roaring and coming to me from all different directions. There is no temple, there is no wall, there is no body, but the waves are coming towards me. I see them roaring and overpowering me. And I fall down exhausted. These are the sweetest thing you can experience. These are the waves of spiritual experience kind of rising through your body, your whole system. He said, I fell, and there I see the blissful Mother standing in front of me. In this state, and of course he fell down on the floor, because the rest of the people say, oh, the madman is fallen down now. Carry him into his room. So they picked him up, took him to his room. He stayed like this for 3 days, in that blissful state, completely oblivious to the rest of the world, the physical world. And the only thing you could hear from his lips was, Mother, oh Mother, oh Mother. Look, spiritual experience has to be that dynamic, that heartfelt, that powerful, that overpowering. It cannot be anything less. When I read these experiences, I get a thrill. Look, this is inheritance that belongs to all of us. We all are destined for such powerful experiences, where we lose this kind of idea of our limited being and experience ourselves in its true glory as a spiritual being. And here you see this kind of these waves coming and overwhelming this Sri Ramakrishna. He's in sight, if you like. He's got first hand. He's, if you like, face to face with the spirituality that he was conjuring up, developing. Mother Goddess comes in front of me. Sometimes we think, here is a Mother Goddess, and his little son, little Bhakta called Ramakrishna. That's how they see him. As the devotee of Sri Ramakrishna, Kali devotee of Dakshineshwar. I say, look, you missed the point. It is not that the Mother Goddess has conjured or produced this Ramakrishna. When I look at the depth of this personality, it is this Ramakrishna who has conjured up the Mother Goddess. Can you believe things like that? He is playing along as a devotee of the great Mother Goddess. The Mother Goddess has been produced from this being. He conjured her up. He was taking his time. This is the strength and the depth of this Ramakrishna. Few people would recognize. And he never made any fuss about it. But now a situation arises between the Mother Goddess and this Ramakrishna, which is highly unusual, not seen in the history of mankind. You see, what happens in most cases is the great bhaktas have a fleeting glimpse of their ideal, the deity of their choice. Meera, Tukaram, Tulsi, they get a fleeting glimpse and they charges up the rest of their life. They are no longer the same. With this case of Sri Ramakrishna, this vision is permanent. This has not been visible in the history of mankind. God and man interacting with each other throughout, continually, from now on until the end of his life. This first and spiritual experience, fully flowing, fully visible, fully intense in one lifetime throughout the rest of his life, this has not been recorded in the history of mankind. It is that dramatic, that dynamic.